What advice would you give to someone who's trying to discover their purpose?
Zandy.
Well, for me, I love newbies. You know, I love to be able to teach them what to do in order to protect themselves. So for me, spiritual hygiene is extremely important, because people, you know, you remember those sticky things that used to, you know, in the summer and all the flies would all stick to them? Well, that's what our auras are like when we don't protect ourselves. And we, you know, you go out in the winter and you have winter coats, in the summer and sunscreen, and so you can't just go out into the world not protected spiritually, you know. So if that's putting the white light around you, meditating, connecting with your spirit guides and your angels, you know, doing sage once in a while, clearing your space. But it's like when you go out in the morning, you before I go out, when I go out the door, I always make sure that I have the white light around me, and I always put a circle of mirrors reflecting outwardly, because negativity can't look itself straight in the face, so it bounces off it. So even if I just do those two things, I know I'm okay. It's like my sunscreen. If I'm going to be around other people, well, then I do extra things. I will call in my spirit guides, and I'll call in my angels and all of that sort of thing. But using sage, because some people just are like magnets to negativity, and then they come home, they're exhausted, and they don't know why they're exhausted. And the reason is people, like, they call them psychic vampires, that they just suck all your energy, you know. So that would be my favorite thing to do, is to teach how to protect yourself from other people's negative energy. And I think that's very important when you're working with spirit.
Okay.
And the other thing is to be grounded.
Yeah.
And grounding can simply be taking off your shoes and socks and putting them on the ground and feeling the earth beneath your feet.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that. Standing there for 20 seconds. And,
Yeah.
and I tell people to, and it's very hard for people to visualize sometimes, so I will tell them to picture roots growing out of their feet into the ground. That seems kind of odd. If that's too difficult for somebody to visualize, then I suggest simply taking off their shoes and socks and putting their feet on the ground and feeling that. That's grounding just as well as picturing your roots going deep into the ground. That's very helpful to you if you're going to be working back and forth and reaching out to the upper realms and that sort of thing. You need to be tied back down to earth so you don't float off.
And the big excuse when you mention to people about meditation is, oh, I don't have time. And that, what Pat just said, just taking off your shoes and socks, going out and putting your feet in the grass and just squishing your feet in the ground for a couple of seconds, that alone is like an anchor, you know.
Well, and meditation can also be prayer.
Yeah, exactly.
And it can be songs in church, because everybody is singing in one unified voice. So you have that same kind of feeling, that same kind of meditative feeling.
Yeah. Anything that will get you aligned. Right?
Aligned, correct.
Like people that love to garden, they're very grounded people. Very grounded, because all they're doing is just focusing on what they're doing. They're living in the moment, and they're not allowing any other thing to come in but what they're experiencing. You know, I'm not a green thumb person.
Meditation and a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Having a cup of tea. It's being in the present moment, most of all. Just being right here in the present, rather than thinking about the future or thinking about the past. Being right here, right now.
Yeah. Conscious with every sip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yes. Do you all teach classes, or you do just individual sessions, or how do you all do it?
Well, we both do individual, helping others to figure out, you know, how to use their abilities. Like, I know what my forte is, you know, and I call myself the energy plunger. Like water, you plunge it, it flows. I do the same with energy. So I like to get people from where they are to where they need to be. So I help them go within to figure out what that is, and I give homework and all that. So it's not like you know, a fortune teller. I'm not a fortune teller. I can tell you about your past, your present, and your future, but I only do that in order to let the client know that the information that they're getting, that they need to do for homework in order to change, that I tell them about their past and their present, what's going on, you know, and what's coming up, or what they're looking, you know, if they already have plans, like if somebody is moving house or something, like, you know. But my forte is getting people from where they are to where they need to be.
Okay, nice. And how can people contact you all?
Well, they can reach me through my blog, psychiclifeadvice.com, and I can be reached at patricia@psychiclifeadvice.com. I provide readings by phone. They can reach me through the email address, and then we can set up a reading by phone, or I can meet them locally if they are here in Atlanta.
Okay.
So I've done that as well.
And video, like do
I've done Skype before.
or Messenger.
But I have, when it comes to video calls, my computer, my system goes haywire. They're like, no, we can't do this. So,
Yeah.
because, you know, Spirit tries to come through and just makes an ass.
So with me, you can go through a couple of places, Positive Transformations on Facebook. Also, I have a Sandra page on Facebook, and I have Zandy at gmail.com. Again, through phone, you can get, do you want the phone number?
Okay.
Yeah, and we can give our phone numbers as well.
Okay. I can put that in the description for people if
Yeah.
they want
That'd be
to
great.
give you guys a call.
Yeah, so I'm the same. I'll do phone readings, I'll do video readings, and I'll do in-person readings as well. You know, it's like the other day, two people, and it's not something I normally do, but this woman came over to me, and I said to her, she had a thing on her neck with two pictures. I didn't even see the pictures. I just said, your sister's passed on, right? And just started blurting out all this information, and I said, look, I said, the question that you have, I said, is she's good, she's happy, and she's, thank God, that's all I wanted to know. And then on Friday, this girl came in and started talking to her, and ended up telling her that, you know, she needs to get away from her boyfriend, he was abusive, and everything I was saying, you know. And one thing led to another. I said, this is not an accident. These things just don't happen accidentally. They're planned, you know. She was ready, obviously, to hear what I needed to tell her. And it wasn't me telling her. It was from, you know, the heavens, you know. And she was like, oh my God, like, how do you know that stuff? I said, look, I said, I'm just giving you the information. What you do with that information is up to you. But, you know, my belief is if somebody gives you information, at least consider it. You know, I said, you don't have to do what you like with it. It's your information. Take what you want, leave the rest behind, is what I always say. But I think sometimes, and she turned around and she said, you know what, you're dead right. I've been just, you know, putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. You know, I really need to do my thing, you know, and get away from this guy. Very jealous, very possessive, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I never met the woman before. She was just a customer. That's all, you know. So it can blow your mind a little bit, you know. And I remember there was this psychic that was on TV. I can't really remember her name, but it was a new show, and she used to go around with her daughter. And I said, oh my God, I'd never do that. I would absolutely never. I think that's just wrong. And so the next day I was at a garage sale. And I'm walking up the driveway of this woman's house, right? And this woman is sitting here, and her daughter's over here. And next thing, there was a ramp, and I saw this old lady. And she was pushing her wheelchair down the ramp. And the minute I went in, she started on me, I need you to talk to my daughter, I need you to talk to my daughter, I need you to talk to my daughter. So I'm going around the woman's house, and I was like, okay, all right, okay, give me a minute, like, and I got what I wanted. I found 2 little things I wanted to buy, and I left them on the table, and I deliberately left my purse in the car, and I said, look, no, I swore I would, this is hypocritical behaviour, I'm not going to do this. I watched it last night, I'm not going to do it. And please, please, please. So I said, give me a minute. So I said, let me see how she handles it. So I goes back up anyways, and I just start saying, your mom just passed away, right? She said, yeah. I said, you're selling the house, getting rid of your mom. She said, yeah. And the daughter came over, and she said, this is a real hard day for her. And I said, I know. But I said, your mother's here, and she wants you to know, And I remember every word, because I was like floored. This was like a video camera being taken of this, because I started telling the woman, she was an only daughter, but she had a twin sister, and the twin sister died. And then the mother was telling me that the twin sister was with her. And she was telling me how fantastic this daughter was and how devoted she was. And oh my God, the woman started roaring and crying. And all these people were coming in and out. And I was like, and I went over to them and I said, I hope I didn't know. And she said, listen, she said, you have given her the best gift today. She really needed that. And I'm walking down, I said, okay, listen, I'm really sorry. And I hope it helped. And, it's your mom said, blah, blah, blah. I'm walking down and I said, you bloody hypocrite. You bloody hypocrite. Bloody hypocrite. I swore you wouldn't do that, and there you went and did it. But sometimes you just do not have any control, but that day was the funniest day. That was the funniest day that really stands out for me. That and you know what? I think every real psychic, their minds are blown. I mean, every time I do a reading and I bring forth information from somebody and the person that I'm doing the reading for is blown away, I'm just as blown away as the person, because it's like, how does that happen? Like, I still can't believe it, that I actually can talk to the dead, so it still blows my mind, really blows my mind. But there's some really funny stories though.
I went on a house tour in Grant Park with a friend of mine years ago. And all of a sudden I started seeing Grant Park, was of course an older part of Atlanta, with craftsman houses that have been around since the turn of the century. And I started seeing all the dead people inside the houses, and I started to see this one house. It was lovely. But there was this dead man across the threshold at the top of the stairs, and he'd been burned to death. And I went to one of the gentlemen that owned the house, and I said, there's a dead man at the top of the stairs. I said he was trying to get out of the fire, but he was unsuccessful. And he said, oh yeah, it was a boarding house, and there was a fire. And yeah, he died at the top of the stairs. And I said, well, he's still here. Have a nice day. And his partner was not happy about the information that was shared. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that happens too. Sometimes I'll just pop out and say, hey.
I remember though, going back to beginners, the good thing is to do things in tangent with somebody else, because I don't see things a lot of the time. Like, I can tell you what colour your aura is and all of that, and I can describe a dead person, but I'm not actually seeing them, I'm just being told. But I remember going to do a night of, we were in this restaurant in Lawrenceville, and it was a real old restaurant, and a dog came, and I was able, there was somebody there, and I was able to tell them what the dog looked like, and it was actually, the person was able to validate. So it's always great to have somebody to validate the information that you're bringing forth. And especially even when the spirits validate for you, because there was a pencil, and I had this pencil lying on this box, and I was asking the person to move the pencil, and they rolled the pencil off the box. Like,
did you run?
No, but it's kind of like. And then another time we went to this hospital. It was an asylum in, I don't know where it was in North Carolina or something. And it was pitch black, really in the deep hot summer, right? And I couldn't feel. I knew there was what do you call those portholes. Yeah, you know, like the porthole.
Oh, portal.
Portal.
Yes.
And I knew where it was in the room and everything, and I was able to describe what was going on in the room, and other people were able to validate what I was saying. But I was walking along the corridors, and it was pitch black, and I went to sleep in a room, and I wasn't scared. You know, and I don't think that you should be scared, because they're not going to hurt you. You know, only if you're not bringing something good in.
Unless they don't want you there.
Oh, yeah.
They want you to get out. They're going to suggest that you get out. And it's like, up, time to go.
Yeah, but again, it's all about your feelings. Like, you know, you'll I don't want to go into that room kind of thing. You know what I mean? You'll know where to go and where not to go. But there's lots of ways that you can connect with your spirit guides and your angels, and there's different people have different fortes. Like, you know, there's some people that love to do the investigations. You know, the paranormal investigations. Did those at the very beginning. I find them very boring, sitting around waiting for the stuff to happen.
Yeah, they come with me.
No. Yeah, I love what I do. Absolutely love what I do. I love helping people and being able to. There's nothing better than to talk to somebody and help somebody after the loss of somebody, and just them knowing that their loved ones are okay. That's all people, and that can change somebody's life. I have seen that change so many people's lives, just knowing and just giving information of what happened just before somebody died, and it's so rewarding, because then that person's going to go away and they're going to be able to move on and move forward. Up to that point, sometimes they can't. You know, they're stuck, and it's sad because it's the people that are left behind, you know, that you have to worry about, not the people that have gone beyond. You know, because they're, as soon as they leave their bodies, they're grand, like, they're like, hallelujah, I'm home, you know, and they're partying, where we're like back down here and we're moaning and crying and, you know, depressed and all of that. They don't want that for us, you know, they certainly do not want that for us.
Well, and that's one of the things that I heard more often than not is, you don't need to worry. You know, you're just borrowing trouble, is what my grandmother used to say. So when you feel like you're going down that path, stop and think, maybe that's not worth my time. Maybe there's a better way to spend my time than to worry. So I really want, and the importance of love in our lives. You know, how important it is to love other people, and how important it is to love everything and everyone, and not be judgmental. Judgment is a way of shutting yourself down. Once you start judging, that's it. You know, the door shuts. There's no communication.
Yeah, and the judgment just hurts you, right? Hurts the person doing the judging.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah.
And the one piece of advice I'd give to anybody that is interested in this kind of work is always get your ego to step aside. Because if your ego is in it, it's not the real thing. You know? When your ego steps aside, it's pure. You know, but it's remembering to make sure that you step out of your ego. Because it sometimes it's very important. Your ego is just as important as not to have it. You know, because it can help you, but it can also harm you. But, you know, in the right contents, it's like when I do readings, my ego, I just get my ego to sit in the chair next to me, or an invisible chair, you know, because I just want to be clear. That's, just taking a moment and just being, known, if somebody pops into your mind that has passed over, all you have to do is say, thanks for being with me today. Thanks for, you know, letting me know that you're around me.
Well, thank you so much for joining me here today and speaking with me. Do you have any other messages that you want to get out to the people watching?
If you're a beginner at being psychic, or if you're hearing messages from the dead and you don't know how to handle it, reach out to people like us, and we'll be glad to help you get a better understanding. Because I know that when things started ramping up for me, I was in college, I thought a murder was happening in my kitchen to me. It was very frightening. And once I realized that this was happening in another place, I was just experiencing it in a different way, it helped me to better understand. But I think that there's a lot of fear around it. It's like, well, what if they come in at night? Or, what if I see dead people at night? How do I handle this? Contact us.
But just be, I would say, be careful who you reach out to. Make sure that they're legit and that they're in it for the right reason, And if somebody is willing to give you 15, 20 minutes of their time, well, then you know where their heart is, And I do believe too, as well, even with meditation, no matter where you go in meditation, stick it out for six times. Go at least 6 times, and if it doesn't change after 6 times, then find somewhere else to go. But just don't go and say, I don't like it. Just stick with it is what I would say. But meditation.
Times.
Yeah. But,
And I believe, I do it every day now, meditation. And I try to pick a certain time of day to do that. Usually for me it's early in the morning. That way it's one and done. I'm done with it for the day, so to speak, unless I have another event at night that I participate in. But it's developing a good habit in a way. Just to be consistent with your time. And also, if you're trying to reach other realms, for me it helps that they know, oh, I'm going to be doing this at 6:20 a.m. We can hang out and talk to you then. So.
Yeah. And it takes 21 days to create a habit, and it takes 21 days to break a habit. Just added that in.
Yeah. I do a short meditation every morning, and it's great. And if I ever skip it, or if I forget to do it, I feel it.
Yeah,
it's like
that's right.
it's like not having my coffee or something.
Exactly.
It's like, oh no.
Yeah, brushing your teeth or
Yeah.
having a shower.
Yeah, like
Just
you
something.
said, energetic hygiene.
Yeah, and that's really important. And it's all, as I said, the white light of the Holy Spirit's around you, and the circle of mirrors reflecting outwardly. If those are the 2 things you do, you're set. And if you can possibly put your feet in the grass and breathe in, that's even better.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Zandy. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you so much
I
for having
appreciate
us.
you so much. Appreciate you so much. Okay, so thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and watch out for the next videos.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.